Today I want to talk about Jordan Hudson, who is down to 5 schools after decommitting from the University of Oklahoma. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video, every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. You know what it is. Today, I want to talk about 5-star 2022 wide receiver Jordan Hudson, who has announced his top 5 schools not long after decommitting from the University of Oklahoma. It was a really good get for the Sooners coming out of Garland, Texas, and one of the best players in the state of Texas. This is also an interesting time to talk about Texas football, Oklahoma football in particular. Let's start with this, though, because I understand getting to the meat of what you're here for. His 3 schools, I said 5. 3 schools that he's down to. Alabama, Texas, and Southern Methodist. I don't know why I had 5 on my brain. 5 stars, perhaps. SMU just kind of feels like a red herring here. I understand that if you're a Mustang fan, you probably are like, yo, RJ, we on our way up. And I'm like, yeah, but you still play in the American. And while I am here for the American on a football field, y'all got a long way to go before y'all are recruiting with Alabama and Texas. That is to say that Texas is really trying to live on the Steve Sarkisian dime here. And this is what I really want to talk about because first there's this really juicy storyline that Jordan Hudson, who was committed to Oklahoma, could end up committing to Texas, a la Billy Bowman being committed to Texas and then flipping to Oklahoma. And we understand how that rivalry goes. And nobody can count Alabama out of any recruiting battle except perhaps JT Tuimoloau. Especially, though, when we're talking about wide receivers because they've been so very good at wide receivers. They've been so good that it's been interesting to see what coaches will and won't say about Alabama football, especially if they have coach there. Like Mike Locksley's at Maryland, Dan Edos is at Maryland, and Mike Locksley took a lot of pride in growing up that group of 4 wide receivers that were awesome in like Waddle, Ruggs, Judy, and Smith. Goodness me. It is Saturday. You could tell that I was planning to take the day off before Jordan Hudson decided to drop this list on us. But I also thought this was interesting and a good place to actually talk about Texas and Steve Sarkisian because I did this segment a couple days ago about Quinn Ewers and his decision to flip from Texas to Ohio State. And I thought it deserved a little bit more air and quite honestly to be a headline video for us because I think it's the kind of thing that people are going to refer to for some time, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just recount some of that so everybody's caught up. Quinn Ewers is a 5-star quarterback in the 2022 class and one of only 6 players in the history of the rankings era to receive a 1.000 rating. Join the likes of Vince Young, Robert Kimdichie, Jadeveon Clowney, Rashawn Gary, Ernie Sims as being one of those dudes, right? So he was asked by 247 why he thought more highly regarded players weren't committing to Texas programs. Like Hudson, he comes out of a Texas high school program in South Lake Carroll. And his quote to 247 was, probably because a Texas team hasn't been in the running for a national championship in a little while. And I don't know about other guys, but like me, I just want to compete at the highest level. And he's right because Texas hasn't played in a national title game since 2009 when Ewers was 5, when Hudson was 5. Hasn't won one since 2005 when Ewers was 1, when Hudson was 1. Ampersand U has been doing really great work on the recruiting trail just in the last couple of days, right? They're challenging for a top 5 spot even as we upload this video right now, or at least talk through this video as it is uploading. Something you're going to be doing something while I'm uploading. It's just a matter of time, time being that kind of concept. We are all of the same tenet here is what I'm saying. But look, you simply cannot ask a teenager to recall your glory days and your history as a means of recruitment, right? And this is what I thought was interesting in that Garrett Wilson famously coming out of the 2019 class chose Ohio State over Texas. Now, he's from Ohio, but he went to high school and played high school football in Austin, right? Lake Travis. So I would say that Texas has more of an opportunity to land him than Ohio State, really. But when you take into account what he said, which is, I want to go somewhere I'm going to be developed, and that's why I didn't pick Texas. Yikes, man. You also got to look at what Ohio State has been able to do versus Texas, right? In putting dudes into the NFL draft. Like, we got to go back to Malcolm Brown in 2015 for the last time that Texas had a first-round draft pick at all, right? Ohio State continues to count him out. Now, you could talk about the wide receiver development, but I'm the first dude to tell everybody that Ohio State hasn't put a wide receiver into the first round of the NFL draft since 2007, when shockingly they had two, Ted Ginn Jr. and Anthony Gonzalez, who ends up being like a state senator or a congressman or something. It's been that long because that dude's gone into politics. It's been how long it's been since Ohio State has put a wide receiver in the first round. Now, that's probably going to change in 2022 with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, but you get my point here. Texas had an opportunity to make a play with Tom Herman, and now Steve Sarkisian, coming off a winning national championship and getting to claim development of two quarterbacks for the first round, you could make an argument that he has, a great shot at maybe flipping Ewers. I don't think he does, but it's there. And if you're able to get a guy like Jordan Hudson to jump into the boat, and then you're able to build on that with an outstanding quarterback like Malik Murphy, who is committed to the class, you might have something brewing. But that's never been the problem with Texas, right? The problem with Texas has always been getting the most out of that talent. It's not getting them onto the campus. It's developing them once they get there. As a matter of fact, we got to talk a little bit about Jake Smith since we're here, because Jake Smith went into the transfer portal earlier this week, and he was National Gatorade Player of the Year in 2018. One of the best high school football products in the country coming out of the state of Arizona. Now, if you're asking me, I think the man ends up at USC because that's where most of the other Texas transfers have ended up, but also it's closer to home. And USC provides him the kind of platform that a player of his capability deserves. Quite honestly, white chocolate over there looking real Reggie Bush-like. And you know how we feel about Reggie Bush on the show. We love Reggie Bush. And you think about Jake Smith joining up with the likes of Drake London and Brew McCoy and that offense, to say nothing of Keontae Ingram and Malcolm X. And whoo, boy, we got a lot to discuss here, and I'm probably going to discuss more Jake Smith stuff at length as we continue to go on through this. But I wanted to make reference to Alabama, Texas, and Southern Methodist as Jordan Hudson's three schools, and I would be shocked if it doesn't come down to Alabama and Texas. And if he picks Texas over Alabama, then we got to watch to see how they develop. But you know what it's going to be at a place like Alabama. You know that they're going to develop you as a wide receiver, and they're going to put you in the NFL draft, likely in the first round. Just take a look at Judy, Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. All first rounders. How much better does it get than that? All right. That's it for me. Deuces.